Hi, everyone. Sorry. I hope you had a lovely lunch now. And I know some of you might be sleepy because it's just after the lunch talk, but please bear with me for a while. So today, we'll be discussing about how the MCP protocol, or not precisely the protocol, but MCP architecture have evolved from SSE to Streamable HTTP. And there is a very important misconception that's happening, that SSE is deprecated, which it isn't. And in coming slides, I'll talk about it. Before that, who am I and why am the person to give this talk? For the past year, as of late 2024 and early 2025, I have been working a lot to build my own MCP servers, playing it around when it newly launched, trying to break it, mostly successful. But other than that, I'm currently working as a DevRel engineer at Harness, building database DevOps. I'm also a CNCG Noida chapter lead, and I'm also a very active OSS contributor to the CNCF community, CDF community, and to the MCP community. So today we'll be covering everything as much as depth we can go, and briefly as well. Why I'm talking about this, naming the things correctly, the transport timeline, how and when evolution started and why did this happen, migration before and after, how it looks like, and it's not some configuration overhead that you have to do. It's very simple, and it's now a must. So gotcha, decisions, quick starts, and how you can do so. So it all started with me building in very early 2025 one of the MCP servers to connect with the Claude and do a lot of my coding work. Till then, it was in late Feb 2025, to be precise. Everything was working fine. I was using Claude. Cloud by default uses stdio processes, so everything was working fine on my dev space, my local machine. But when I deployed into the production, I noticed there is a 60% traffic or the request that fell through. Now, after a lot of debugging and with the help of my peers, I came to the realization that the architecture required sticky sessions. So the get calls, the post calls, both the endpoints had to hit the same instance processes. Then the spec had the deprecated and was about to be deprecated as well across the different SDKs, which I didn't notice because there was no big announcement and such. It came in very swiftly and silently. And half of the SDK version were still defaulting to their backtrack, which when was introduced, the when and whenever the MCP protocols support were added to that. So as I mentioned in the start, SSE wasn't deprecated. In Streamable HTTP, we still use SSE events. What deprecated was the format of using HTTP and SSE together. So till now, we were using two different endpoints, one for persistent connections with via TCP connections with the client and the server, and the second was the HTTP, which was we are using to require or committing the JSON stream, like JSON schemas and conversation and such, and it required sticky sessions. And the current one is a Streamable HTTP transport. A lot of you might have started using it, and if not, maybe this will convince you. So one endpoint handles both the post and the get responses, and the responses can be JSON or a schema defined by your handle request and response, which verifies, OK, this is the input, and now whether should I commit in a JSON format or a schema format, and how the output spec would look like. But just to be clear, the SSE is still dead, and I don't think it's going to die very soon. So this is how an SSE response actually used to look like. Just a simple HTTP status 200 status code with the stream data. The stream is open. Now on that stream, I used to convey my messages and get the conversation ongoing. So this is the actual architectural shift that happened. As of or when MCP was launched in November 2024, stdio was used to process input, output locally. Cloud Desktop, it still works fine with the Cloud Desktop. And locally, if you're building something. The HTTP plus SSE architecture came into at the same time as the stdio, but it's no longer required because we got something better. So why this old architecture was actually a headache and why we needed to move. So you see, if you're having a persistent connection, for example, if it's a single instance, I do not have to worry about it, right? I have a single instance. It's connecting to my single pod. Everything is going smoothly. But what if I have a load balancer or a multi-instance or architecture? In that case, as soon as the process begins, the GET creates a TCP connection, for example, with the pod A. Now, my HTTP, suddenly maybe my pod A got more traffic and such. The connection is still active with the pod A. But when the new request or the endpoint started conversation, it redirected it to maybe pod B, which used to result the drop that I was talking about earlier, the 60% drop, because it did not have an ID or a conversation, any context. So for the server, it was hitting something which it haven't able to establish either a connection or maybe the connection was established, but it was having no context on what to share. Plus, the HTTP and SSE were not very subtle in serverless architecture because, again, you need sticky sessions to work with these two. And the serverless architecture do not support, by default, the stateless connection. So this is how it used to work till now. As of March 2026, with MCP client sending the request to load balancer, and then the load balancer finding out, it used to clear the session between, or jumping the session between different pods. Whether you are using Kubernetes Ingress, AWS, Cloudflare, anything, and CDN, you could not deploy to CDN because CDN Edge by default needs a stateless action. So what March 2025 changed? Why the streamable HTTP came in the place? So we got to know what are the conflicts between HTTP and SSE. Two endpoints, two different authentication barriers, two different sticky sessions for load balancer to even work. Plus the server must track the session state, which pod it has been connected to, right? But with the March 2025 spec, streamable HTTP rolling out or started to rolling out, those things were not required as much. Because now you had a single endpoint post. It could be /MCP. Atlassian is using /MCP. You could have a /MCP demo or whatever you want. But now a single endpoint can do the both, create a persistent connection, have the capabilities to have that HTTP transferable conversation, and it's stateless by default. So earlier today, in the keynote, Angie also mentioned that this is something, a candidate release to moving MCP towards the stateless result. And this was kind of a foundation for that. So the new system maintains the ability to use both, which enhances in the terms of scalability, efficiency, and reliability, because now you could even play around with serverless architectures. So just to give a snippet, if this is your code looking like even in 2026, not broken yet, but soon will be. And I'll explain in a few slides why. But before that, as I mentioned, this is the new streamable HTTP pattern. You can notice there is just one post, a single endpoint, which is differing between the SSE and the JSON stream, which it have to do. And all that is handled by the transport handle request. Based on what kind of request it's getting, it's able to share the inputs and switch the context very fast. As a simple example is, at Harness, we have a Harness MCP server, which is an open source server, which employs a stateless streamable HTTP in post/MCP format as well, which supports multi-user authentication as well. So this approach utilizes our latest pattern we discussed, where a single endpoint is MCP. Now every request is self-contained, right? So the server doesn't need to hold any TCP or persistent TCP connection for you, and will wait around, okay, if there is any conversation going or not. Any pod can handle. So even if you have a load balancer in place, it's a multi-instance architecture. So the pod A can also handle it well. Pod B can also handle it well. And if you have pod C, it can also handle it well. And if you do need stateful sessions, there is a header called MCP session ID, which is not required. You can opt in and then treat it as a stateless session. So these are some things that generally people skip while migrating. So SDK version mismatch, model context protocol, all the SDKs above 1.10 does not support HTTP, so check. Below than 1.10 does not support streamable HTTP. All the releases after 11th of March do have those support, so check it before starting to migrate. Client still hits the get SAC, it's fine. For a while, it's in a life cycle. They have a 1-year shutdown life cycle, so it's still valid. But HTTP plus SSE architecture is only for the backward compatibility. They are not going to add new things to that. And with the new versions, it's still just there to make sure that you do not break anything, but you have to move. Auth header forwarding, old SSE GET request often had auth and query parameters. Streamable expects those in an authorization bearer token. Session cleanup task, if you use session maps, you need an eviction strategy. So if you were previously using memory state plus horizontal scaling, then your state will be lost. So now with only 2 ways to use an MCP server, which one should you go for? If you're just building locally, testing locally, or it's just to your own use case, use stdio. If no, then do you need a real-time streaming responses? Yes, then use streamable HTTP. Do you need to have a session? No, streamable HTTP normal, stateless, simplest. If yes, then you can bring in the Redis and such to, again, use the streamable HTTP. And this isn't hypothetical anymore. So Kebula have announced their SSE endpoints, removing their endpoints as of April 1, 2026. Atlassian's Revo have announced on 11th March 2026 that they have removed /SSE endpoint and have moved to /MCP. And they have put the deadline till June 30, 2026. And throughout this year, more vendors are moving out of the SSE and HTTP architecture. So if someone is using Rovo, if you have not done the migration yet, the deadline is June 30th. So let's talk about a case study on how the migration in production looks like with the Atlassian case study. So they moved from mcp-atlassians.com/v1 to /SSE to something like /v1/mcp/auth v2. So they use that specific endpoint for handling all kinds of authentication, authorization, and such. The deadline of the backward compatibility ends on June 30th. And why they did so, they have written a beautiful community blog as well. They discussed with their community why this one happened. And SSE was very fragile on drops. So as we checked earlier, if the sticky session on load balancing or any way could not keep the persistent connection open, then there was a data loss which resulted their users to face escalations and such. And what the switch takes place, as we saw in earlier, the same file, it's the same format, but how you are handling both the things, moving from 2 endpoints to the single endpoints, using handler request, having more parameters, it's that easy. You just have to do the transport switch, moving from 2 to 1, and zero sticky sessions in LB. So even if you move to maybe AWS Lambda or a Cloudflare serverless, you can still use it now. So why just streamable HTTP and stdio? We have gRPC, we have WebSockets. Why not add those protocols as well? Because they'll handle the same things. Streamable HTTP makes it bidirectional conversions. WebSocket can do it. So last year, a lot of people came together to have multiple transport supports, transport protocol supports to the MCP server. And unfortunately, they are closed because there was an architectural drift of some capabilities in MCP. So the community proposal could not pass, although the code still lives in one of the branches. You can try it out. And if you have a time, you can even contribute to it. So the official data, as of now, is they have only 2 supports. And if you need a third one, you can use your own custom transport. They have the code samples, as I mentioned, for the gRPC, WebTRC, as well as for WebSockets. I know it's not Monday, but next Monday, when the event is over, the things that you can do. You can go to remember what have actually changed in your code base, in your architecture diagrams. If there is any still dependencies which have been deprecated, now is the right time to move out of it. Check your SDK versions. You need minimum or more than 1.10 according to the Model Context Protocol SDK versions, whether you're using Python, JS, TypeScript, and such. Migrate the transport from SSE server timeout to the streamable HTTP one. It's not very hectic. It may be a good weekend project to do. And add a compaction. Return 405 with a clear message that we have deprecated. Do not use it. Don't use 404 silently, because this will create confusion for whoever is using that. It's just a temporary glitch which can be fixed. So that's all. Thank you, everyone, for listening to me. This QR is for my LinkedIn. You can connect with me. If you have any questions, I'll be just right outside, or you can connect with me LinkedIn and check it out. You can also go and try it out, the Harness MCP server, on how we have done the migrations. We are still using only stdio for the local development and streamable HTTP for our deployed production state. And the full future of transport, how does it look? It was by WG, a very beautiful post. You can go through, read it, have a lot of context on that. So I think that's all. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, everyone.